One thing I've learned about your wife, more than anything, is that she doesn't drink water enough in the day. She stays up way too late on her phone usually. And once she sets her mind onto something, nothing will stop her, especially if she continues to send you reels like these.
The kindest thing that you can do for yourself is to let people go when they want to go.
Avoidance will break up with you and realize they love you 6 months after they left you. Most avoidant attachers think they no longer have feelings for you.
So when it comes to her decision to leave the marriage, can you do anything to prevent her from walking away? In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you one man's story of trial, tribulation, and transformation. And at the end of this video, I will lay out the VHA Rule with concrete habits you are going to start today to begin the process of winning her back. Now, look, I have to give you a huge warning. You're not going to like this video at start, and that's for one simple fact. The man you currently are is the reason why you are at where you are at with her. So therefore, you must become someone new. Now, you may be saying to yourself, Josh, yeah, I kind of already know that, but here's the unfortunate irony. It's that your ego, your sense of self, will use tools of boredom, inattention, annoyance, frustration, and excuses to avoid making these changes. But if truly winning your wife back is the most important thing to you, then make a commitment to yourself right now and comment the word win, W-I-N, down below. You're gonna watch this video until the end to overcome your ego. Let's get started. So she's a dimmer, not a switch. Now, before I get into Brock's story, we have to address something about your better half straight away. It's a controversial mistake that every single man makes with his wife. You ready? You believed her. You took what she said as dogmatic fact. How could you? When she said, I am no longer in love with you. I am done. It's over. Choose the next woman. You know when she says these things, she doesn't mean them. So then why did you believe her at that time?
Because, Josh, she's never said or did that thing before.
Okay, I get it. But the man who wins her back knows that her words come from emotions and her emotions change when you do. She may have meant those words at the time, but it doesn't have to be destiny. Your wife is not logical in her process of emotions. She's more of a light dimmer instead of a light switch. You think when she said those things that she turned off the lights on your relationship, and now you are in this internal darkness with her. But that's not true. She is a dimmer. The lights are pretty low. It's hard to see, but you can work to turn them back on, turn her on, and turn the relationship lights back on. Oscar Wilde said, women are meant to be loved, not understood. I remember one of the most crazy transformation stories out of the thousands of men we worked with so far. His name was Brock. Okay, now Brock was a traveling salesman. And I remember getting on the first call with him and he said, Josh, you know what? My wife, she's about to give me the divorce papers when I get home next week. And she told me the other day. And I found your program that next day. He goes, I swear it was a sign from God. And I signed up and here I am with you. And you know what, Josh? I'm gonna win her back. She's my soulmate. And I know right now I've hurt her and I've done things to screw it up, but I'm gonna get her back. I know it. I've never seen so much confidence in any man to this day in our program. That much confidence that he just knew. He's like, I know to my core, my being, I know through God, through heaven that we are soulmates. And I have made mistakes, but I'm going to step up and be that man that wins her back. And you're about to hear in Brock's story how it's crazy the depths of literal hell he was in with his wife to where he's at now. Let me tell you all about it. She's teaching you how to win her back. I speak to you through your intuition, through your senses, through your dreams, through your feelings, and in other ways far too numerous to mention. Where do God's lessons and teachings come from? Is it in the Bible? Is it in the experiences you have? Is it in the emotions? Is it in other people? I can tell you one thing for sure. A lot of the lessons about yourself you're supposed to learn do come through her. Anger, pain, holding back, jealousy, indifference, they are all gifts to you. Now you could choose to listen to those lessons, to learn from them, or to neglect them and repeat the same lessons in the next person. Because the only thing you have in common with the person you're with is going to be you. In the book Conversations with God by O'Neil Donald Walsh, he says that God says, I talk to everyone all the time. The question is not to whom do I talk, but who listens. Brock grew up in a military home. He had such a solid heart, a laughter that filled the room, and 6'6" frame of solid muscle, and he was idolized by his peers. 12 amazing years with Jamie, and 2 beautiful girls as well. He felt blessed every single day. Now, the day after his wife's 34th birthday, their daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. They rushed her to the hospital, something was wrong, and thus ensued 6 long months of treatment and stress upon stress. Jamie lost weight, Brock gained it. The once loud laughter retreated into nothing. Brock was a shell of the man he used to be, trying to keep it together for his wife and daughters, weeping sobs of agony in the parking lot before work, then coming home to put on a brave face. The distance was growing with him and his wife. Jamie pleaded with Brock multiple times to connect, to talk, and share the pain, but he learned that a man has to keep it together for his family. His distant father's demanding voice was an echo playing in his head on repeat. Keep it together, son. You aren't weak. Brock didn't know it, but those lies were the demise of his marriage. The stress was too much. Their daughter pulled through to survive, thank God, and eventually thrive. But in the process of saving her, Brock's marriage came undone. Too much trust is broken and disconnect. Jamie tried everything in her mind during those months to let him know how the distance was felt, to plead with him to open up, but Brock learned the wrong lessons. In those moments, Brock needed to see the signs and work through them with his wife, to recognize his emotions, to process them, and then to share the result with his wife for increased connection. Now, I can't say for sure what the meaning or lesson was for Brock. That's between him and God. But to him, 5 years later, he did tell me that God put him through that so he could be broken down. Now, there's a quote from C.S. Lewis. If you don't know who that is, I recommend checking him out. It really sums up this idea. Imagine yourself as a living house. God comes in to rebuild that house. At first, perhaps you can understand what he is doing, but presently, he starts knocking the house about in a way that hurts unabominably and does not seem to make any sense. You thought you were being made into a decent little cottage, but he is building a palace. I'm literally getting chills, you guys, when I'm saying that. That's good. Whew. Let it die to be reborn again. Brock started to trying to win Jamie back, like the most of you. He went through all the stages. Started off with denial by saying things like, you aren't serious. We just got through this. Now everything will be okay. Then it was anger. How could you? I sacrificed everything for this family, and now you're leaving me? Bargaining. Can we please just go to therapy to work through this? I understand now, and it won't happen again. Depression. I'm not gonna even tell you what those thoughts were. I think you can imagine. And then, before the final step of acceptance, he found my team and I, which, by the way, if you need help, set up a call with our team down below. It is a free evaluation call that can help you on the right track to saving your marriage. Now, I'm gonna let the angry therapist kind of encapsulate this last step.
Like every other living thing in this world, relationships die. There's a beginning, middle, and end to every relationship.
Now, we talk about tests a lot on this channel, a lot. So if you don't understand them or how to pass them, there will be a video at the end of this one on the best tips on how to pass her tests. Just know that she tests you when you are not at your best, your most peak, conscious, loving, leading, open self. Now, the deeper you hurt her, the more she will test you. So for Brock and many other men, her pulling away by saying, I no longer love you anymore, choose the next woman, that's just a test. She is testing something in you that'll prove that you can make her feel safe. Now, Brock made his wife feel alone in her pain during those moments. So she's pushing him away, not because she doesn't want him anymore, but because she needs him to be his best self. G.S. Youngblood, who had the privilege of interviewing on the podcast, said this: a woman will test your strength, not because she wants you to fail, but because she needs to know that you won't. Once Brock fully grasped this idea, he was able to move on to the VHA Rule. V stands for values, H stands for habits, and A stands for what you're about to see. Most men are not able to understand that what holds them back from the life they want is not adhering to their core values and acting incongruently through them. Brock, for example. So in the situation with his wife, let's look at this. He didn't know his values in the situation with his daughter going on. He never stopped to think, what values was I espousing? What do I hold? See, what he was valuing in those moments was strength, responsibility, courage, and sacrifice. The subsequent habits that resulted all that was him shutting down, working late, closing off, not taking his wife seriously, not communicating with her. And through those values, we recognize that what happened is he was pushing his wife away, which was not what he wanted. So ultimately, the values he was espousing was not his actually true values of the life he wanted to live. In going through the values exercise we have in our program, we realized that Brock actually valued authenticity, trust, connection, and self-awareness. The resulting habits of that would have been coming home to talk to his wife more consistently. Now, in determining your own values, there are some core questions I'm gonna have you do right now. Let's take some action to get some change to have you understand your core values towards what you want. Ask yourself, what makes me feel most fulfilled or proud of my life? When I have felt most conflicted or uncomfortable, why was this? What do I prioritize when making important decisions? And what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? I want you to take a lesson from Brock, okay? Have that confidence that you will win her back. See it clearly in your mind that she will come back to you, that this is all a test. Notice the signs from God, right? Listen to your heart, as cliche as it may be. Listen to your heart. Your head will confuse you. What is the right thing to do? And then orient your life towards the correct values and habits towards what you want. Create that consistency and congruency, and she will trust you again. She will notice your changes, and you'll be on the path towards reconciliation. Here's the video test right here. Check it out. See you in the next one.